Ladies and gentlemen, today is August 22nd, 2013, and this is the KNKL Show, episode 86. I have to be a little bit quieter, or daily day 86. I have to be a little bit quieter today because we are starting a little bit late. Decided to go off on a little adventure with my friends. We went swimming, and we went and got a pizza together, and it was really fun. I was feeling a little cooped up from all the work I was doing today for the banner for Comic-Con. Let me actually pull that up so you guys can check it out. But I was working on that today, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to get out of the house, and so I went swimming, and now I'm back. And I figured you guys, Thursday is a little bit more of a casual day, so I figured you guys would be okay with me coming on a little bit later, and we do a secret stream of sorts, if you want to call it that. But yeah, this is actually the banner that I'm going to be getting printed for me. It's going to be behind me while I'm at my booth in Comic-Con. It's going to be really cool, and I had my buddy Taylor come over and just kind of check it out really quick because he's really good with like design and just setting everything up. So yeah, everything checked out, and we're gonna be sending this off to the prints tomorrow, and yeah, we're gonna be having some good times with that. So let's just go ahead and get into today's talk. And what I want to talk about today is a little bit of an interesting feeling I've been having, and you know, today's gonna be a little bit more low-key. I'm probably not going to be shouting or yelling as much, obviously, like I said before. But for those of you who saw yesterday's episode, I was talking a lot about my old stuff, right? You guys have been asking for me to show a lot of my old artwork. And so yesterday I decided to venture down into the basement in search of this old sketchbook that had a bunch of my old stuff and studies and just drawings of characters and anime girls and all that stuff. And I didn't find the sketchbook, but what was interesting is I found the CD with all of my old work on it. So it was just as good, basically. And so that was what I showed you guys yesterday. If you guys are curious about that on YouTube, go ahead and just check out yesterday's show. But at the end of the show, I was talking about just like some of the feelings that have been coming over me as far as with making the comic, starting the business, quitting my job, and where it's all taking me now. Well, like what's next. So today that's what I'm going to be talking about. And really it's a very positive talk because it has a lot to do with this feeling of, you know, like the feeling of pursuing your dream, but it goes much deeper than that. It's almost like pursuing your purpose, right? Finding what it is that really just makes you happy. What really just makes you feel alive, make you feel like you're really contributing and putting your best foot forward with what you're best at, right? And in my case, that's just being an artist and doing something as silly as creating a comic and telling a story to you guys. And for me, that's my purpose. And what's interesting is I believe that people come to the earth, right? They have their lives on earth, and everybody's like almost given this purpose, right? That's why these people are interested in politics, right? Politics is like the least thing, like the thing that's like the lowest on my list of priorities, the things that I'm interested in. You know, there's people that are just born for that stuff, that are good at that stuff, and people that are freaking smart and just like make all the computers and all the advances in technology. People are just super excited about that stuff, and they're great at it. Like my buddy Taylor, he's really super smart. I think he's going to be a big name in terms of like inventions. I think he's going to come up with something really awesome that everybody in the world may use, but we'll see what happens. Or he'll just create some cool little knick-knack or an iPad game, but he's a really smart guy. But I just think that that's very interesting how everybody just kind of has something they gravitate towards. And this is, today I'm talking specifically to you out there, right? Because a lot of people that watch my show are artists, and I think that we're given a very, very special gift when we basically come to Earth, whatever religious thing or whatever you want to think about why we're here. The point is we're here now, and we have a gift, and that is the gift of being able to take what is in our mind, a vision from within our mind, and literally transcribe it onto a surface so that way somebody else could look at it and see what we see. And that's a very, very awesome tool, and it's like a power, right? It's like magic. It literally is like magic. Create something from nothing. And that was what I was talking about yesterday, because I mean, you look at these characters and they didn't exist before. They weren't there before. They came from nothing. They came from my mind, and now they're here for you guys to see and read their stories, and you guys enjoy it, right? And this all just comes down to this one feeling, or this one like this one phrase that's been going through my head. And really what made it sink in was I was going through just a bunch of old stuff in the basement, and I pulled out my yearbook, right? My old yearbook from high school, my senior yearbook. And I just looked through all the notes of all these people that left me, that I had signed my yearbook. And like every single one of them was talking about, oh man, your art is incredible, right? You're such a great artist. Oh, thanks for drawing me this one picture. Thanks for, teaching me this thing. And like, at the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm an artist. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And they're like, oh yeah, good luck. There's people saying, oh yeah, good luck with Blizzard, right? Because I really wanted to work at Blizzard. And this is before I even knew Riot existed. And it was probably before Riot existed, actually. So, but I was just reading these notes that people sent to me, and just how they were complimenting me and just encouraging me with my art. And it's really interesting to think about, how much art has been a part of my life, and just how much I decided that was what it was going to be. And it really just comes down to the phrase. And the phrase is that we were made for this. We were made for this. I was made for this. You were made for this. And anybody who wants to be an artist really was made for it. And to settle for anything less is a disservice not only to you, but all the people that you could affect with your gift, right? You got to think about it that way. And not to like put any pressure on you or anything, but you really got to think about that. You've been given a gift. You've been given this desire and this purpose, right? That you want to become an artist, and it's an awesome skill and talent to have. But it's like you don't just get it, right? That's the other thing. Some people think, oh well, your talent was just given to you, or you're just lucky that you got to do that. I wanted to be an artist too, but yeah, you were just given that. As if I didn't spend years of my life perfecting and learning, and it's not, when I say perfecting, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but you know what I mean, like constantly working to improve it, right? Perfecting the skill. And it never does get perfect. You're always just improving and improving. I haven't done my best work yet, and I won't do it until the day I die, right? That will be my best work, because that'll be the last thing I do. And yeah, it's a very, very cool thing. But really think about that. Like, we were made for this. We were made to bring our visions to the world. We were made to create these characters. We were made to tell these stories. We were made to show these designs for the next big vehicle or gadget or machine or something like that. There's all kinds of different artists, and that's a very, very special gift, like I said, to create something from nothing. Say, I can see it here, and then let me show you, right? I can show you what I see in my head by putting it on paper. And I just hope that you guys understand that. And for most of my dailies, I like to stay positive, right? But as of late, I think that there's some good motivation to be had, and some of the negative thoughts, right? Some of the thoughts of, oh man, if I really don't do this, this is going to cost me, right? And something that really stuck out to me that I heard in a recent talk was, nobody else is going to tell your story for you. Nobody else is going to create your story. Nobody else is going to draw your picture. Nobody else is going to do whatever you want to do with your art, right? Nobody's going to create the academy. Nobody's going to create the college class. No one's going to teach these kids the same way that you could teach them, right? And so whatever it is that you want to do with your art, I just want to make sure that you understand that it is a big responsibility that you do it, not only just for yourself, but for the people that can really benefit from your gift and from what you've been given. And really, you'll know when it's right. You'll know when what you're doing with your art is right, because you'll feel it, like you'll know it. And that's what I've been feeling with the comic, and that's what I've been feeling ever since I quit the job, right? And it's very interesting how it's almost counterintuitive, right? Because it's like, oh, well, what about the bills? What about my car? What about paying for rent? Am I just going to have to be stuck here living with my parents for the rest of my life? And like, woohoo, yeah, I'm living my purpose. Am I just deluding myself into like some false sense of, oh, hey, yeah, I'm following my dreams, so, pushing everybody else aside and becoming selfish. This is something that I've been kind of thinking about lately too. And I think to a certain point, there just has to come to a point where you got to trust in your instinct, right? And this is something that I was asking myself lately. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I might be deluding myself into some sense of, oh, well, I'm following my dream, so anybody else who says I can't do it is just a naysayer, right? And, I'm going to sacrifice others, that way I can get what I want. But I don't think that's really my mentality at all. And my instinct says that, or just my feelings inside, my instinct, if you want to call it that, it's telling me that this is the right thing to do. It's saying I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And I'm working towards a way to make money so that way I can have my own place and have my own studio, because that's what I really want to do, right? And I'm going to find a way to get there. And you guys are going to watch me do it because you watch the show every week. So, yeah, but this just kind of, I asked myself, how many times have I had this thought, like this feeling within that's just telling me I need to do this, right? How many times have I followed my instinct and found out that I was wrong? And I was actually really hard-pressed to think of any time when that was the case, right? In fact, I couldn't come up with one example where I was like, oh, I had a really, really good feeling about this, and then I tried it, and it was an absolute failure. It was an absolute mess up. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm not saying like when I started the clothing business, right? Controverse Clothing. I started that, and of course I had the feeling, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a business, I'm going to make money and stuff and all that. And that failed. But what's interesting is even those things, even those failures came into play when I was ready to do the comic, because I learned a lot back then. And so that basically set me up to make Emma. And even if Emma fails, right, I'm not afraid to admit that Emma might not work out. It might just not work out in terms of making money. But the one thing that I do know that is going to work out is it's going to get done. Emma will get done. I don't care whether it makes another dime from this day till the end of time. It doesn't matter, because I just want to see it done. I want to see the story done, and I will not rest until it's done. And that's a really, really cool feeling. And that leads me to my next feeling, or my next thought, and that is, you know, sometimes people go through these traumatic events, right, where they get, they get in some terrible car accident, or something happens where they become paralyzed, or maybe there's like even just the threat, someone gets cancer or something like that, or someone's told they might lose their eyesight from some sort of accident or tragedy. And it's interesting that, when these things happen to people, some of them kind of buckle down, and then they pity themselves, and they think it's all over, and they say, why me, and all this stuff. But there's another select group of people that I'm very, very interested in, and these are the people that when these things happen to them, they learn to appreciate life in a way that is hard for somebody who basically has everything, right? My body's perfectly working fine, and I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm doing what I love. But what's interesting is that these people who choose to live their life from this day forward take on a very interesting mentality, and that is that life is really about today. Life is really about seizing the day, enjoying the day, and doing exactly what you really believe you should be doing. And I'm really starting to understand that a lot more, because it really kind of is. It kind of is, because a good way to put it, like this is kind of an interesting thought that I thought to myself. It's like, well, whether I play it safe and I live to be 100, right, or if I follow my heart and I only live to be 30, I would almost rather do that. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter whether I die when I'm 30 years old or I die when I'm 100, because I'm sure at the end of my life, whenever it is, I'm still going to say, man, that went by fast, or be like, man, this is too short. This wasn't enough time. And even to in a crazy extreme, you can be like, it could be all over tomorrow, right? But it doesn't matter, right? Because if you're living from day to day and you're living what you believe you should be doing, or you're doing exactly what you think you should be doing on that day, it doesn't matter when your life ends. It doesn't matter if you live to be 1,000 years old, or they come out with some freaking magic pill that just makes you immortal for 1,000 years, or if you die the next day by some crazy truck or random car, which actually almost happened to me. It was on last year's Christmas. I was crossing the street, and I was reading a comic book, right? I was reading a comic that my friend gave me, and this freaking Mini Cooper came. I didn't even hear it, I didn't see it or anything, and this thing just came peeling out right by me. It almost hit me and swerved right out of the way, and I was just like, whoa, that could have been bad. That could have been really bad. But luckily, I didn't get hit, and the guy just moved out of the way, just went into the other lane of the road and dodged me, which was nice. It was nice. But it's interesting to think that whether something like that happens tomorrow or something terrible happens, it doesn't matter, right? Because I know in the end that I'm following my heart and I'm doing exactly what I think I should be doing every day. And there's always room for improvement. There's days where I get up and I'm like, I really don't want to get up and do this thing. All right, I guess I got it. And I just kind of like slump out of bed, you know. And this is interesting because people were talking about just a couple days ago about how they saw the emotion and motions video, like how I get up and I do the whole daily ritual, I like dance around, jump around, do some jumping jacks, and I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't listen to the song. I don't do any of that stuff. And, you know, I almost felt kind of bad because it's like, well, hey, I'm telling people to do this stuff, and I'm not even doing it on my own, right? I'm not doing it by myself anymore. And, you know, it's funny because I know deep down that if I were to do that, if I were to get up and I still did that, I would feel better. I would feel more energized. I feel more excited. So, but that's the thing, is that life is always going to be this battle. There's always this mental battle that's happening. It's funny that the biggest thing that determines your life is not actually anything that happens around you. It all has to do with just how you master, how you think about yourself and how you think about life and how you perceive situations and opportunities. And that's really what makes your life. And it's so funny how, you know, your mind just always gravitates towards like this negative state of being, right? You don't need to try to have your mind slowly go back to this negative state of being where you just complain about stuff, you blame other people, you know, it's not my fault. You're quick to, you know, judge other people, stick yourself above other people. What else? Like be vengeful, you know, like always want revenge. It's not hard to feel those feelings. Your mind always constantly goes that way. So life is just, it's a battle for territory. It's a battle for creating the life that you want, thinking of yourself the way that you really want to be, and choosing to have a positive life and choosing to do what you want, right? Pursue your dream, pursue your goals. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing, but that's something that I've been thinking about lately, is that, you know, it doesn't matter whether I'm dead tomorrow or 100 years from now. If I don't follow my dream, if I don't do my purpose and live what I'm really supposed to do, then I'm going to be really sad. I'm going to be really angry. I'd be really angry if I got to the end of my life and I was like, man, I never did that stuff. I never made the comic. I never told my story. I just played it safe the whole way, you know? I just did what everybody else, I did what I thought was going to make me look good in front of everybody else. And, you know, I played it safe. I took the secure route, and I never took the jump. And I would be actually very, very disappointed in myself, because I think that I'm capable of more. I think that I'm capable of more, and I think that I deserve more, and I want more. I want to be able to tell stories. I want to be able to inspire other people to take the journey that I have, right? If they so choose, right? It's definitely an interesting journey, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself. But I think, and it's hard to say now because I'm not there, but the way that I've seen it work out for other people is it's always worth it, right? If you stick it out just past that point where everybody else quits, it seems like, you know, the reckoning is right on the other side, right? Or the tides turn right at that moment when everybody else, like 99% of the people, would just let go and give up. And but that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be the one that hangs on. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one, as I spit all over the place again. But anyway, okay. So let me check over here. You guys are saying some comments really quick. And oh, how long have we been going for? Oh, we've been going for like 20 minutes. Okay, cool. And in the meantime, guys, I would really appreciate and encourage question catapults, please. That'd be awesome. And then, yeah, I'll just talk for a few more minutes and then we'll end today. I gotta finish this Comic-Con banner. Ooh, so excited. So excited. I'm gonna be drawing pictures, handing out business cards, spreading the good word of Emma, the good word of free comics. All right. Let us see. Let's see. Mist 4 Michael is asking, check out Sidebar Nation. It's a site with tons of interviews with comic artists. Ooh, that'd be sweet. Oh, that reminds me. Someone forwarded me a podcast called Making Comics, and they said I should contact those guys and see if I can get an interview with them. I think that would be really cool. I love interviews. I love doing interviews. I think they're really fun. And XBLGR is saying, man, I wish there was a college card that just taught concept art. We'll see what happens with that. Because as much as I love teaching on YouTube, I think it'd be really, really fun to teach people in real life, you know, like have an academy or have a art school, right? That teach specifically like, you know, 2D production art, concept art, comics and stuff. Like I really believe that there's a future for comics that is going to literally like blow the lid off of the world, right? There's a way to use comics, and that we're already using it in a lot of places, but there's just like this key that's just waiting to be turned that is going to bring comics into a just like a new life, right? Like it's just going to be accepted, right? Just as much as like books and everything. I mean, all the movies that are coming out nowadays are based on comics. All the stuff that was nerdy and like lame when we were growing up is now all the cool stuff. Everybody's playing video games on their freaking little Game Boy, right? That they call a cell phone. Everybody's reading comics or they're watching movies that are based on comics, and it's like, oh yeah, I love Spider-Man. Yeah, just to be cool, right? But we know that they're just fakers. They're just fakers. So, but anyway, I think that comics is a big, like, untapped power source, right? I think that there's something really, really awesome in them, and that is something that I'm trying to explore for myself, and I'm having a lot of fun while I'm doing it. So, questions coming in from Helgen Warfare. He's saying, do you have moments where you lose all motivation? If so, what do you do? Yes, Helgen Warfare, yes. There are times where I've woken up. I've already had plenty of these times where I just wonder what the heck is going to happen. Like, where is this going? Like, is this even worth it? Is it really worth it? And during those times, I found the best thing to do is write them down, right? Write down how you're feeling in your journal. Right? Go to Barnes & Noble, pick up, I like these little tiny ones because they're cooler, right? You're writing them and people are like, oh, what's that, right? It's not the big ones because everybody's like, oh, journal, big journal, show off, right? And if you have a big journal, I'm not saying anything, not knocking you, but yeah, I like the little ones because I can put them in my awesome man bag right over here. But I really like to write down the way that I'm feeling, especially in those times where I'm just like, so like ticked off or so pissed and just depressed or angry, and I love just writing it down because it kind of like takes all the feelings and it just like goes into the paper, and then it's no longer in my mind. And when I'm worrying about stuff, I'll do the same thing. I'll ask myself, what am I worrying about? I'll write it down. I'm worried about this. What's the worst that could happen? Write down some crazy exaggerated story of what the worst that could happen is, and then I imagine that that actually did happen. And I'm like, and once I do that, once I almost like mentally accept that the worst just happened, and then I begin to improve on that, I notice that it's actually not even that bad. It really isn't. It really isn't, because, you know, it's like, first of all, the story that you wrote down is probably super funny, because I like to exaggerate my worst that could happen. Usually ends up with me becoming homeless or going to jail or being fed to like a giant tank of sharks, you know. And you know, it's so funny because when you worry about stuff and you keep it up here, it's almost like all the infinite possibilities just keep going off in your head. Like it's just like a fireworks show going on in your head. And then as soon as you take it out and you put it right there, it's no longer here. Right there, you look at it and you stare it in the face, and it's actually not that big of a deal anymore. It's like, well, hey, even if this did happen, I could do this and this and this and this. And then you usually come up with a solution right there. But the other thing that I've realized is that whenever I'm worrying about stuff or just losing motivation, a good thing to remember is that your motivation and energy is not always going to be at the top, right? If you're doing the right thing, right, and you're following your dream, you know, people will give this false assumption that, oh, you're always going to be up here, right? When you're working, doing what you love, you're not feeling like you're working. Hey, I got news for you people. It actually is work. It's always work. It's always work. But you appreciate it, right? You're like, I'm working super hard, and this is going towards me. And then there's going to be those times where you are just down in the dumps, and you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I hate this. I hate this project. This is a complete waste of time. And it's like, you know, you're going to get to those points. But here's the thing. Once you understand that this is a natural slope, a natural curve of energy that's happening, right? You're going to be up and you're going to be down. Here's the thing that keeps me going, is that I realize that I'm not going to be down forever. It's just another one of those, you know, ups and downs. Like I was up, you know, last month, and now it's kind of going a little bit down. But once you know that, you know, there's just these ups and downs, they're not so scary anymore. It's just like, no, it's just a downtime. I'm not going to be like that forever. And then almost immediately just kind of starts you going back up again. It's almost like it loses all its power. You know, it's like the monster loses its power when you understand what it is. when it comes out of the, when it comes out of the closet and then the light's shining on it, it's just like some dude in some Chuck E. Cheese outfit with the zipper hanging out in the back, and it's totally cheesy, and it's not even scary, right? That's basically how it goes. Once you just understand that stuff flows like that, you're not scared of it anymore. And then you enjoy the high times while you're there, and then when you're in the down times, it's like that's just one of those times, and it's not going to last forever. And here's the other thing. No matter how bad a situation or problem appears to be, it always just has a way of working out anyway, whether you worry about it or not. You ever notice that? All the things that I've worried about in my life, things that I thought were going to be the end of me, they just have a way of just moving on past. It just life continues. Life goes on. And you got to just kind of take that for what it is. It's just like, well, even by law of averages, everything that I worried about before has just worked out. So it's probably a really good chance that this is going to work out too. And then instead put that energy focused into the project and the task at hand, right? Plan for the future, but don't worry about the future, right? Plan it and leave it, right? And then you focus on doing today what's going to take you there, right? Because if you don't focus on doing today what's going to take you to the future where you want to go, then guess what? You're not going to get there. You are not going to get there. And that's a very interesting and awesome point that I heard from like these awesome speakers, right? They say that, if I continue on my if I continue with my current behavior, my current mentality, where is this going to take me in 5 years? If I continue hanging out with these same people, right, and the way that they're influencing me, if I keep dragging myself down, if I keep saying it's impossible and not believing in myself, am I going to get to where I want in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? And when you ask yourself that question, it's actually very, very eye-opening and it's very eye-opening, and it's a little bit scary sometimes too. That was kind of what got me into gear. I realized that, if I really want to make this happen, I got to get in the habits now of being disciplined with my money. I need to start understanding where it's going. I need to be dividing up the percentages properly into, hey, this is going to become an investment in the future. This is, stuff I can spend, and this is, you just divide it up properly, if you want to give to some charity or something like that, which I think is a really, really good thing to do as well. It's just good to engage in the daily disciplines. That's what the secret is, really. It's not some big thing that you do over one day that changes your life for the rest, that changes your life, right, for the rest of the time. It's the little things that are done every day over years that make you into a different person. So I want you guys to remember that. And yes. Okay, a couple more questions and then we are ending. Happy you guys showed up today. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right. Arrow's asking, I have the money to buy a Wacom Intuos 4. I ask you, should I take the jump and buy it, or do I wait for a better price? Arrow, the best thing for you to do is Intuos 4, right? That's this thing, right? So you're obviously, can you buy these new? I can't remember if you can buy these new. But if you're getting it used, I think that's a good thing to do. But here's the question. If you're ready to buy the digital tablet, like if you're holding back and be like, ooh, well, I'm not going to start drawing until I get the tablet and get the Photoshop and everything, and you're like waiting on all these things to line up, then I'll tell you right now that you're probably not ready. Because if you're ready to get this tablet, you're ready to make the jump, you're going to be drawing every day. You're going to be drawing wherever a piece of paper or just any drawable surface is there, and you have a pen or pencil, right? Like you're just ready. You're super ready. You're excited. And that's okay too, because you can work into that too. Sometimes, there's all kinds of different motivations. Some people actually get very motivated from buying things and be like, well, I invested this money into it, so I might as well just jump into it. And that's okay. But I personally don't work that way. I'm the kind of guy that'd be like, oh, well, I paid all this money for it, so I guess I should jump into it. But then I'll just keep ignoring it, and eventually it'll go away. So that doesn't work for me. But I don't know if you're that way. But just be careful. Be careful. Make sure you're just really interested in art if you're going to do it. And the worst that happens is, hey, you spend a few $100 and you don't use it. You can sell it again or whatever. It's not the end of the world. So I would say definitely go for it. I'm leaning more towards going for it as opposed to not doing it. All right. Last question. Wait. XBLGR says, the way I see it, you have at least 70 years from when you are born to be whatever you want to be. That's a great statement. And here's another interesting statement. Speaking of negative things, right? We're talking about negativity, right? Negative motivation. And something else that I heard that really kind of struck a chord with me was a lot of people die at age 21 and don't get buried until they're 70 or something, 65. I don't know. There's something really kind of jarring like that. It's like, whoa, people die at 21 and don't get buried until they're 65. And that totally made sense to me. I understood what that meant. I was like, yes, it's like people just settle for being comfortable. People just they get themselves to believe that they don't deserve to go for their dreams. They don't deserve to do what they really want. And that's why their spirit really dies at that age. It has a high percentage rate of dying. It could have. Mine could have. I was starting to feel that immediately, like kind of coming on to me towards those last days. But I didn't want that. I didn't want that for myself. And I realized that it was time. It was time to move on and do this thing. So, and it's been an amazing experience so far. I'm super excited. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait for Comic-Con. It's gonna be so sweet. I can't wait to not only do Comic-Con, but why the heck is this not? Oh, there we go. I can't wait to not only do Comic-Con, but go to these other conventions just around the world. You know, just anything that has to do with video games or comics or storytelling, anything. I just can't wait to start touring and traveling around the world, because that's always a big dream for everybody, right? Traveling. And I'm curious as to how I'm going to get all the money to do that. But like I said, I'll figure it out. When you want it bad enough, when it's a must for you, somehow you find a way of doing it. So with that, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. I do appreciate you guys waiting for me to come on a little bit later than usual. But it's been a pleasure, as usual, joining you guys live on Ustream. People on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Until then, you guys take care.